And we are here with one more question for you today. We are on episode 16. Do I really have to rest?
It's a swear word for achievement-driven people.
Can I just ask, have you ever been on a lilo and have you ever had tequila?
No. I've understood that rest is a key component of high performance.
Good. Fall into the wrong thinking that a rest is a remedy for overworking rather than a rhythm for our life.
Rest is about being comfortable with being who you are.
Take a rest before you even begin the day. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Winning Life TV podcast with me, Leanne Morgan.
And me, Gareth Morgan.
And we are here with one more question for you today. We are on episode 16.
Yes, sweet 16,
Sweet
people.
16. And so we thought it'd be good to, before we launch straight into our question, to play a bit of a game because
game time.
We like a bit of a game. Because actually the question is, do I really have to rest? Is rest important?
It's a swear word for achievement-driven people.
People think that rest means sitting back, doing nothing, being lazy. So before I come up with any more words and names for rest, this is what we're going to do. We're going to spend 30 seconds. I'm going to put a timer on my clock here.
Ooh, we're going to, and everything.
Yeah, we are. We're going to do 30 seconds, and I want you to come up with.
We got a prize?
I am the prize. We're going to go with. Let me just put it on here.
Eyes on the prize.
We're going to come up with 30 seconds, okay, and the timer will go at the end. See how many words you can come up with or things that you think people associate with the word rest, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Get set, go.
Lilo.
Lilo.
Is it just me?
Yes.
Oh, right. Sorry. Holiday. Vacation. Tequila.
What?
Walking. Beach. Hot weather. Resting. Oh, what do people think about resting? I would say, Sunday afternoons. Sunday lunch. Carvery.
That's it. That's the end.
Oh,
there.
that was a quick 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you didn't come up with many.
Well, a combination of a carvery and a tequila.
Lilo and tequila. Can I just ask, have you ever been on a lilo and have you ever had tequila?
No. Well, I've been on a lilo.
So I've
had a carvery. Ooh, love a good carvery.
So that's your idea of rest is eating. See, I was trying to get you to think of all the things surround. Do you want to try me? See if I can come up with.
I failed, basically. That's what you're saying, aren't you?
You did fail. Do you want to try 30 seconds with me?
How many did I get?
About 4 decent ones.
I think there would be more than 4. Wouldn't you agree? I think there was. I think I had about 8.
I have a theory. Okay, we'll talk about this at the end. But I have a theory why you didn't come up with many.
Right. Well,
okay, are you ready?
Go.
Spa day, massage, swimming, spending time with the kids, go for a coffee, holidays, beach, hot weather, swimming in the sea, watching movies, having a nap, watching your favourite series, rest, having a day off, having a weekend away, nature.
And that's it.
So I came up with a lot more than you did.
You did come up with a lot more.
So
you get more rest, clearly.
And then we all know that's not true.
Someone's got to pay for that rest.
Well, let me just tell you, I have a theory as to why you couldn't come up with many words to do with rest. Because you don't like it. You can't argue with me because it's true. You understand and you appreciate the need for rest, but you don't like it because
in my losing self.
In your losing self. And why is that? Because your immediate view of rest is
I haven't got time.
We haven't got time to answer my question.
No. Well, it's an underlying problem I have. I don't think I've got time.
You haven't got time to rest.
Yeah. So I think it's I could go right in because I know the root issue, but I'll go at the light sided first of all. We'll work our way down.
Give us time to get there.
I always go for the jugular. No, because I don't feel as if it's productive. And I like productivity and a result in exchange for my time.
Good. Okay. So for those of us who are watching and listening today, you might identify yourself as a person who's a bit of an achiever. In other words, I mean, we all like to achieve things, don't get me wrong, but if you're an achiever like Gareth, that is what you, unless you've achieved something in your day,
achievement
you feel
driven. I think that's the key word. Driven
sorry.
is the
okay, that I stand corrected.
Because you like to achieve, but I think it's the driven element.
It doesn't
isn't it?
Drive me. So
Yes.
if I have an unproductive day, I will feel horrible about it, but not half as bad as you will, because my kind of soul appetite is in something different.
Yeah.
So I can have an unproductive day, but if I feel secure and reassured, then I'm fine. But if you have an unproductive day, you feel terrible. So and that's just the way we're wired. And I honestly believe that God has made us this way, all different ways, not so that it's our downfall, but that actually it's to give us, it's to grow us and develop us. So for you, when you don't achieve, and there's a day of rest coming up, you won't enjoy your day of rest, or I'm talking about in your losing conversation in yourself, you won't enjoy that day of rest because why? You don't think you have
deserved it.
You don't think you've earned it. So then there has been times in the past where I know it's our day off or we're doing something together and I won't enjoy it then because I know you're not enjoying it because I want to enjoy it together, and it's because you haven't achieved anything. Sorry. But God say
all this just to get me to admit that.
You have got better at that though, let's be honest. You have worked at that. So is rest important? First of all, the obvious answer to that is yes, but maybe let's look at why is it important then?
So without, again, for me, because I think it's often how you look at something, I have to value it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because in the past, I haven't valued it as much because I haven't understood its role in the bigger picture. So I'm a person of vision. I want to see an outcome. I want to work towards that outcome. A little bit of fear, running out of time can creep in. Therefore, rest. Well, that's not going to help me get there. And if I'm running out of time, then it's going to doubly be more of a problem.
Yeah.
So I would almost pride myself. I remember ashamedly saying, I used to pride myself on kind of saying, I don't have days off. Things like that, as if that's like some huge achievement. But in reality, I've understood that rest is a key component of high performance.
Good.
Of bringing our best. And of course, that has a productive result in what you produce. But also, there's, a responsibility that if what I'm doing is to serve somebody else and not myself, then I want to bring my best. And obviously, ultimately, from a faith point of view, I want to bring my best because that honors God. So again, rest, it's there. If God rested creating the world and he is perfect, then there's something to this rest business that we've got to understand. And
that whole part there of kind of the pattern and the rhythm and the thing that God has set up, we'll come back to in a moment, of how God initiated and created rest and exampled it. Yeah. So we'll come back to that. But really, I think it's important for us to, how we played that kind of funny game at the start, what words are associated with rest and things like that. The reason I got us to think about those things is because I think some people will work, and this is not just like a group of people. I think everybody falls into this mindset in society. We'll work and work and work and work and work, and we crawl our way to a holiday, half term, summer, Christmas, whatever, a break in our calendar, to then flop and go, I'm exhausted, I'm having a rest, and think that is going to set us up for the next 6 months. And that's where the downfall comes. So the reason I got us to think of those words is actually we can fall into the wrong thinking that a rest is a remedy for overworking rather than a rhythm for our life. So how can we look at what we're doing and see if it's rest or is it escape? because sometimes I think I've done it before. I'll binge watch on Netflix or, be doing lots of things. And actually I'm not resting. I'm escaping.
Yeah.
I'm actually hiding. But if I say to myself, no, this is rest, I'm doing this to recover, then that's a different thing. So, what kinds of rests are there that we need to look at?
I think there's a good point you make there that, okay, whilst rest can be something that people use to avoid, to escape in, they do the same, or I can do the same with busyness.
Yeah.
So I think we all probably fall into one of two camps, that we either escape into busyness, work, or we escape into rest and pleasure.
Yes.
So, and I think anything that we're doing from a place of avoidance is unhealthy. So the activities that we're talking about in and of themselves, they're neither good nor bad. Why we're doing them determines whether they're good or bad. It's a bit like money. Is money good or bad? Well, no, it's neither. It depends on what the intention is behind the money.
Yeah.
So what is good rest? That was the question.
Yeah.
So for me, good rest is rest that is planned. Mm-hmm. So I've made a clear decision that I'm going to rest, because I think if it's just something I fall into, then, and again, anything that I just fall into, I don't think is good. I think we have to be intentional.
Yeah.
But I think a good rest is rest where I am comfortable with being who I am. And I think I escape rest and have escaped rest because I'm trying to build worth in who I am through busyness. And so people, I think, on the flip side, will avoid work sometimes, again, because that's where almost they're seeing something where they see themselves as worthless and they want to escape from that. So I think I need to be comfortable in who I am in that moment. And again, I think good rest is where I have the opportunity to really be myself and enjoy being myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as although we're very different, I think I've avoided rest in the past because I don't want to appear lazy. So, this is another problem that I'm sure lots of people have. It's worrying what people think about us. And half the time people aren't even thinking about us or looking at us, but we're so consumed with what they think. And being a leader, and maybe there's lots of you leaders that are watching this, leaders at work or in church or in teams or whatever, you're always setting the example. And so for me, I have fallen into the trap of thinking, if I have a day of rest, if I switch my phone off, if I don't do work, whatever, because I'm taking a day's rest, what are they going to think? Am I setting the wrong example? Because I want them to work. I want them to work hard. Such a wrong way of looking at it, because I'm not taking a rest, or I am taking a rest based on what others think of me. And actually what I should be exempling is a rhythm of rest. So they see me equally working hard and being diligent, but equally looking after myself and my family. And looking after myself in terms of rest is not necessarily every night on Netflix or every evening I go and do my own thing. It's built into my daily rhythm, or my weekly rhythm, I should say, more than that, so that it becomes integral in my calendar, as much as Monday morning opening my emails is, so that I'm not then relying on the Saturday burnout to catch up, And
I think rest is that. It is putting a clear boundary around a time and saying, okay, and that's intentional. And when you put a boundary around anything, a boundary protects.
Yeah.
And so it decides what is inside of the boundary and what is outside of the boundary. So, you put a frame around a picture. A frame is a boundary. It's saying that this picture is going to be the focus when somebody looks at the frame, but it's also a separation from what is outside of the frame. And it's the same when it comes to rest. So it's about saying what isn't going to happen as much as what is going to happen. For instance, so it might be, I'm not going to check my emails. Yeah. The phone goes off or is on do not disturb.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend time and be present with my family, or I'm going to be with this group of people. We're going to go and do this, or, whatever it might be. But intentionality and protecting that time and differentiating that time from work, I think is really important.
In every episode of the Winning Life podcast, you will hear Gareth and Leanne talk about the importance of getting a plan for your personal and professional life. That's why they have developed the MVP plan. When you develop your MVP plan, surprising opportunities and uncommon results follow. The MVP plan provides you with a clear structure to begin to see how your goals can turn into reality. Starting out with setting the goals, highlighting milestones, and planning individual tasks, you'll begin to see how the MVP plan is key to experiencing the results you've always wanted to have in order to make an impact in this world. Visit thewinninglife.tv today to get access to your plan and the steps on how to use it.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult these days because we've got devices, mobile phones, etc. And everything is on there. And rest, I think, is not just about switching off email. Sometimes it's about switching off the chatter from social media, other, kind of external things in our environment. But the problem is everything is on a device,
the
mobile phone, or, we have not just our fun and our family and our social life and our work. Everything is on these little things. And so
it's scary, isn't it? When you think about
scary. And even bank, I can't operate on a daily basis without it. So it used to be that years ago when we first had smartphones and tablets and that kind of thing, it was easy to switch off. I just turn it off on holiday and it was not a problem. But now it's like, I feel like my oxygen has been cut off if I do that. But there's really still a principle in place there that when I have a day off, or, particularly when I have a decent holiday time, I will delete my email app. I will delete some social media things that I know are going to be work related or take my attention off to focus. And this is strange because I would say probably 10 years ago, we just did not have this same issue. The rest thing was an issue, but how we achieved it was very, very different. And if we're not careful, rest isn't just about kicking back on holiday in the sunshine. It's about making sure that we are taking time out to be with the one who really does give us rest, who is God, because he provides rest not just on a physical level, because actually it goes far deeper than that. When we believe that we should be living from the inside out, which is spirit first, which is the inner part of us, through to the soul, the mind, and then the body. If we're living that way out, actually we have to take a moment to become reconnected with God and allow him to rest from the inside out. It's like treating symptoms all the time. If I have an illness and all I'm doing is treating the symptoms and not the root cause, I'm never going to get better. And this is the problem, I think, with people who are constantly burnt out, exhausted, or trying to get their worth through working, or those who are just, hiding in rest, all those things. It's because they're perhaps, and I've done it, living from the wrong angle and attacking the symptoms. Oh, I'm tired, I must need a day off. When actually, probably I'm not tired. I've just been trying to do things in my own strength, or my thoughts have been haywire, or all of those things, or I'm allowing my feelings to take over. And we can misuse rest to kind of help us treat a symptom.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Rather than getting it into, it's like taking vitamins and being healthy regularly to stop the illness coming about. Rather than waiting for it to come and then just treat the symptoms with paracetamol. Why would I do that? But that's exactly what we do. And I think for a lot of people, it is that rest is almost like a quick swallow of a painkiller, but it's not really achieving it. Because then you resent the rest. Because then I know there's times when I've really looked forward to a day off or some time off, and I've almost idolized it and worshipped because I'm so looking forward to it, and I get there and it doesn't do what I needed it to do. I don't come away feeling refreshed because I didn't need to lie in, I didn't need to watch a film, I probably just needed to spend a bit of time with my spirit and God and get myself back on an even keel.
No, it's a good point. And I think, like you said, first and foremost, rest is a spiritual state. And it's important to recognize, because like I said, if rest is about being comfortable with being who you are is, first and foremost, you are a spirit. You are spiritual. We've talked about this before, so I won't go into too much detail, but essentially, if I were to drop down dead right now, the physical Gareth would be present, but the actual Gareth, the personality, the essence of who I was, will no longer be here, because I'm spiritual. So everything has to start from the spiritual place. Yeah. And so I need to invest in that account in my life, which is why we need to close stuff down, for at least a day a week, and to say, I'm going to invest in this account. And it has to be a rhythm, because, investing is a rhythm. Yeah. There's no such thing as an investment plan where there isn't a rhythm. There's a consistency. That's what builds the credits. That's what builds the value in that account. And so, we have to operate from that. And I say from that because, again, like you said, what happens is we treat rest as a symptom, as a cure to deal with symptoms. So what happens is we rest from work, whereas the way that we've been designed is we are to work from a place of rest.
Yeah, good.
Now, that may sound like I've just flipped a few words around, and on a simple matter, that is what I've done, but actually it's a profound difference. And, Jesus said these words, and this is from a Message version, which is a paraphrase version of the Bible, but Matthew 11:28, Jesus, and again, interestingly, there's no phones then. So phones are just another symptom or another way in which, the age-old challenges of mankind that haven't changed just manifest themselves in different ways. But he said this, he has these questions. And so I'm going to use Jesus' words to ask you these questions. Are you tired?
Yeah. I'm always tired.
Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burnt out on religion? I'll come back to that in a minute. Because you didn't think Jesus would say that, would you? This is Jesus, the religious one, saying, are you burnt out on religion? Some of us are fed up with religion. Some of us are burnt out on religion and what that represents. Come to me, Jesus said. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Now, those words just speak to the core. I don't think any human being could listen to those words and not be touched in some way. Why? Because his word is spirit. In other words, his words speak to the very core need that you and I have.
Even listening to those verses makes me kind of go, yeah. I feel rested.
It creates a big sigh.
Yeah, and I think that's the key there. It's important for us to take care of our physical self. We have to get good sleep, and if you need a nap, take a nap, But we're talking about something far deeper than that, because you can feel rested even if you've not had any sleep. It's important to look after those things, but sometimes I've been, like I was saying before, in such a state about stuff that I think I just need to go back to bed. But actually that's just hiding. That's not resting. It's 100%. Hiding. Actually, what I've needed to do is spend a bit of time with God and say, Jesus, just help me to work with you and walk with you. I want to live freely and lightly. Jesus has come to remove the burden, remove the weight of everything, not to make us feel it even more. And I think in another version it says, come to me all you who are weary and burdened and I will give you rest. There's an exchange that happens with him, a divine exchange, which is amazing. He just takes all that. Now the problems don't disappear. The weight doesn't disappear in terms of it's still there, but it disappears off us if we allow him to take it from us, because sometimes there are things we can work out, some things we can't work out, some things are making us tired and we just can't do anything about it. But actually spending time and being realigned in our spirit with him helps. You know, some people who are not Christians, some people who are Christians do this as well, have a moment in the morning of meditation, you know, where they will sit and empty their minds. And I know that back three years ago, when I was having a really difficult period of anxiety and mental health problems, my brain was so full, I thought my head was going to pop, and I was exhausted in every area of my life, and it had a very negative effect.
Burnt out.
Completely burnt out. And it was a result probably of years of not having that rhythm of proper rest. And I remember just my mind being so all over the place. And it's hard because people were saying, I was watching podcasts, listening to podcasts, and people saying, have meditation is key. And how it like completely revolutionized people's lives, that they were kind of having this Zen moment in the morning. And then I suddenly realized that it's not wrong, but they're not quite there. Like, it's good to do that, empty your mind, but you have to fill it with the right stuff. Because if you just empty it, you've just got an empty vessel ready to be filled with a load of rubbish again. But actually, David in the Psalms talks about meditating on your word day and night. I lie in my bed in the morning, he says, and I meditate on your word. That's David the psalmist. And I began to think, actually, meditation didn't exist with some new age religion. It's actually instructed by God that we should meditate. Just literally means to empty your mind of everything else and think on God, think on him, think on his word. And so when you read those verses from Matthew 11, what an amazing thing to do at the start of every day. If you're feeling absolutely exhausted, burnt out, I don't know how I'm going to get through today, take a rest before you even begin the day.
Absolutely.
Take a rest in him before, meditate on his words, and I guarantee you will feel different. The problems might still be there. You might be still physically exhausted, whether you've got kids or pets or a demanding job or, all of those things. Physically, we can feel exhausted. That can get sorted with a sleep. This is the stuff that we really need to work hard on.
Absolutely. And, as I said there, in that passage, Jesus said, are you burnt out on religion? So, we can use work, we can use escapism, we can use religion, we can use all these things, which in and of themselves aren't bad things. But actually, if we're using them to overcompensate for an absence of something deeper in us, then they become bad things to us, because again, the reason why we overdo anything is because of an absence.
Yeah.
Something that's missing. So I will overwork because of an absence of self-value. So I'll try and create value in my work to feel valuable. People will use religion. Okay, I'm going to do this to look better, to feel better about myself. Well, the problem with that and with all these things is that they're a never-ending cycle. You will never pursue and catch up with enough good works, results, or pleasurable activities that will fill that absence. The absence needs to become a presence, which is like Leanne said. The answer isn't to create a whole new level of absence. In other words, empty my life completely of everything. That just creates more absence. What I need to remove things out that are not helpful, but I need there to be a healthy presence. Presencing who I really am, and from our point of view, you can only truly presence who you are when you presence God at the center of your life, when his presence is what you build your life upon, that he informs my identity, he informs my value. He says, Gareth, you are already valuable. You put your own name there. You are already valuable. You don't need to work extra hard to get it. You don't have to be extra good to get it. You don't have to, get lots more friends or followers to get it. You already have it. Now live from that value. Yeah. And I think rest just reminds us that we have been graced with value. We don't earn value. Now that value is there to serve to the world. And in all honesty, when you're trying to get value, you can't be serving it at the same time. Yeah,
absolutely. That's really, really good. And so, we just want to encourage you today that maybe you've come into today's podcast feeling really stressed, burnt
Tired.
out and exhausted.
Yeah.
But hopefully you've left this feeling a little bit more rested, knowing what to do next. Maybe you need to take some time and schedule in, plan in this rhythm of rest. Be diligent and be disciplined with it, just as you would with your work. It's not about saying, oh, you know, I'm not working now, I'm just going to lie on my bed all day. No, it's about planning and working. If you're married, work through with your husband or your wife, how are we going to rest together? How are we going to incorporate to make our family better, our home better, our team, our work, our company better, all of those things. And when they see exampled in you, they will want to follow suit. And that's about growing and developing. You're not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for everyone who you are leading and who's following you. So hopefully that's helped you today.
Yeah, go work from a place of rest.
Go work from a place of rest. And remember, there is more in you than you think.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care.
We hope that you enjoyed that episode. And if you enjoyed it, please go and subscribe over on all of our channels on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook, and not forgetting your favourite podcast platform. And if you head over to thewinninglife.tv, you'll be able to find all the resources available to you. Gareth has written several books which will help you on your discovery to building stronger and better lives. Come and join us for the next episode.